Today, we're going to talk about the story of Ryan Waller, a man who cheated death only to befall victim to an hour-long interrogation. After an attack on his girlfriend and himself, Ryan found himself fighting a painful brain injury, skepticism, and a lack of medical care. Ryan's story only gets even darker, and we'll break down what happened step by step. So prepare yourself for this tale of survival that was ruined by injustice. But before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video for more content like this. This case takes us to December 23, 2006, the day Ryan Waller's life would take a drastic turn. Two guys stormed into his residence, apparently seeking revenge for a previous fight. When Ryan went to check the sounds at the door, a hand reached inside and shot him twice in the eye. The two men, Richie and Larry Carver, then broke into his home and fatally shot Ryan's girlfriend, Heather, killing her instantly. By some miracle, 18-year-old Ryan survived and was able to speak with authorities. When they came hours later, he told them he had no clue what occurred, but instead of being taken to the hospital, he was brought to the police station for interrogation. Ryan was left alone in the room for 20 minutes before the interview began, during which time he struggled in discomfort and was unable to scream for aid since he was handcuffed to the table. Ryan was plainly not well, but the investigators ignored that and continued questioning him. During the interview, Ryan revealed to the investigator that he'd been shot in the eye with a handgun. When asked if it was a BB gun, the response confirmed that it was a genuine gun, but the detective responded by claiming that if the shot had been lethal, Ryan would not have lived. Unlucky for him, he in fact was not able to survive the after effects of this day. Ryan was questioned about why he was down there, but he showed doubt. The interrogator then read rights to confirm comprehension. A reference to TV series like Cops or CSI was made, and Ryan was asked if he was familiar with such shows.
Never seen a TV show Cops or CSI or anything like that?
Okay.
Never seen that?
No.
You've never seen any kind of cop show? Lawyer show? Any kind of show?
Yeah.
Okay.
When the rights were stated, including the right to stay quiet, his educational level was mentioned, and he acknowledged finishing 8th grade but not graduating high school. Ryan confirmed he was able to read and write when asked about it. The detective's conversation with Ryan suggested that he was aware that something is wrong. He's raising his voice somewhat, slowing down, and speaking in extremely basic English, much like how a toddler might. Despite the big wound on his face instead of an eye and the day's reactions, the detective determines nothing's wrong and continues interrogating him. The interrogator inquired about a girl named Heather and her surname. At first, Ryan claimed he did not know Heather's last name, but he told him that she went by several nicknames. When asked about a possible last name, he mentioned maybe Carmen Cayman.
You know a girl named Heather?
Mm-hmm.
What is Heather's last name?
The one that lives there right now?
I guess, I don't know. If her name's Heather, what's her last name?
I don't know which name she's trying to use as her last one. She's trying to have a real last as her nickname, so I don't know.
What nickname does she go by?
She probably wants the last name, Kyman.
Kyman?
The cop asked if Heather was between the ages of 16 and 17. To which Ryan responded to have known her from school, from a business class to be exact. The interrogator switched his gaze to the face of Ryan and inquired about the injury on his eye, but Ryan seemed to have forgotten or had no idea what had happened. The cop mentioned that he, Ryan, told an officer that someone had hit him. He denied, saying Heather may have accidentally smacked him in the eye during an argument about something with someone named Christina, according to one reply.
Someone hit you. Do you remember who hit you?
I think it was Heather.
Why would Heather hit you?
It was an accident. I forgot why.
What was an accident?
Heather's last name?
No. What was an accident?
Heather hitting me.
What did she hit you with?
Her hand in the eye.
Did you guys have an argument?
Not really, no.
Not really?
Uh-uh.
What happened for her to hit you in the eye like that?
She just hit me on accident. She was giving Christina a head.
She was what?
She was helping Christina with her hair or something. I don't know.
Who's Christina?
She's on the couch.
The incident specifics remained unknown, and the response looked unaware of the events that led to the injury. Ryan and Heather shared a residence with another individual whose identity isn't known. It's possible that this is the Christina he's referring to, but nobody else was there on the night of the attack. Ryan definitely has traumatic brain injury, and it's amazing that the detective wasn't able to match the dots. Even if it was merely blunt force, as Ryan claims, he should be checked out by a doctor given how he's acting. But that's not how it goes. Instead, it becomes even more twisted up. When asked about the previous night's events, Ryan claimed to not know what had occurred and said he wanted to sleep. When asked explicitly about Heather smacking him in the eye, his response was as if he was not understanding what was going on. The interrogator persisted, asking who was in the house, but Ryan only wanted to go to bed and sleep. There were inconsistent claims by Ryan as to whether Christina or Heather was on the couch, and his replies continued to show ignorance and a great desire to sleep. Regardless, the interrogator stated that he was at all allowed to leave. The interaction reflected his confusion and doubt about the events and persons involved in the incident. The interrogator kept interrogating him about what happened the night before in the residence. He then told Ryan that in fact there was a deceased girl named Heather in the living room, but his understanding of the matter remained hazy, and he continued ignoring to talk. The interrogator continued to press him for further information. That was when Ryan began describing an interaction with Richie and his father, who reportedly came over and had arrows and darts with them, and that they had shot both him and Heather. This was contradictory to what Ryan had mentioned earlier, as he said he was attacked with a gun. The cop then asked Richie why his father must have attacked him. He showed ignorance, implying that Richie and his father were attempting to steal their property. The detective then drew attention to the inconsistent information and wanted clarity, seeking further information regarding the shooting and the injuries received, including how exactly Ryan was wounded in the eye. With the revolver bullet still in his skull, it does seem like an implausible narrative, which is presumably why the officer is practically laughing at him. That was a grave mistake on his part, but it doesn't explain anything. He's obviously upset and in pain and has to go to the hospital, but he was still to satisfy this cop with God knows what for any form of medical attention. The cop counseled Ryan to speak the truth about what happened, but poor Ryan remained puzzled and said he had no idea. He again mentioned Richie and his father coming over, but he couldn't explain why they were there.
Well, these people came over, Richie and his dad, with shooting arrow, bow, and darts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ryan then used a phrase, being thrown in a sleeping hole with arrows and bows, but he couldn't explain what a sleeping hole was. But the cop remained unsatisfied again, telling him that he's been confusing, mentioning revolver and then arrows back and forth. Ryan continued to emphasize his lack of comprehension and insisted on going back to sleep once more. Ryan stated Heather was shot in the face after he was already shot. When questioned about his reaction to the gunshot, Ryan said he was on the ground trying to get up. He didn't hear anything when Heather was shot. The detective asked Ryan why he didn't contact 911 or check on Heather's health, to which Ryan said that she was still asleep and that despite being shot in the side of the face, he just left her sleep and didn't want to wake her up. The cop pointed up confusion, saying it didn't make sense for him to let Heather sleep after she had been shot. The exchange raised doubts and suspicion regarding Ryan's description of events, as his actions were not quite making sense and were unreasonable. Ryan apologized, saying he didn't realize Heather had died and that he too had been shot in the eye and was about to pass out. Ryan's unclear and conflicting statements irritated the detective. When confronted specifically about Heather, Ryan gave a different narrative, claiming that Heather's father walked outside the home and shot her. The interrogator again questioned Ryan's behavior, highlighting that despite seeing the incident, he did not phone 911 or seek aid. Ryan responded that he was trying to sleep, and of course he was looked upon with disbelief. Still unsatisfied, cop again asked why he didn't contact 911 right away after seeing the incident. This time, Ryan, in an unexpected move, transferred blame to Richie, alleging that Heather's brother, not him, had shot her.
Did you call 911? Did you see if she was alive?
She was sleeping still, and that's it. I just let her sleep.
She got shot in the side of the face and you let her sleep?
Yes.
This does not make sense, Ryan. You didn't know enough to call 911? Why did you call 911?
Because I was just trying to go to sleep, that's it.
You just saw Richie's and his dad shoot your girlfriend and you just felt like you needed to go to sleep? Ryan, look at me. Ryan.
Yes. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Why did you shoot Heather, Ryan?
I didn't shoot Heather. She was already shot once by her brother, I swear.
Richie.
Yes.
Richie shot his own sister.
Yes, I swear.
That's idiots. Sit down.
Not me.
The detective exited the room quickly, leaving the situation unresolved. Before the interrogator left the room, Ryan indicated that his head hurt. The shifting story and the uncertainty surrounding the events produced a complicated and puzzling environment during the interrogation. Finally, the investigator considers the possibility that Ryan was in some sort of discomfort and leaves the room to call an ambulance before returning briefly to try and learn more about the incident. And this time, Ryan pointed out that Heather is not linked to Richie or his father and that he has no clue why they assaulted him that evening. 10 minutes later, the fire crew comes to examine Ryan's condition. The detective even made remarks on Ryan's character, implying that he's acting as if he had a brain injury. The fireman asked about a recent head injury, asking if this has happened previously or if it happened tonight. Ryan replied with confusion to them, saying that he doesn't know. The detectives look into the potential of firearms being involved and wonder who's to be blamed. Ryan is still unsure, and the firemen inquire about the nature of the damage, implying that it appears to have gone clean through. Ryan has his blood pressure measured, and after 56 minutes of useless and untimely fatal interrogation, he's rushed to the hospital, where physicians instantly determine his condition is grave and that he has, in fact, been shot in the eye.
And he's acting like he has a serious head injury, which would make sense.
What's your
Guys
name?
confirm.
Ryan.
Yeah, we'll take him.
I don't know why.
Yeah, we can tell. Did that all? Has it been like that before, or just happened tonight?
It's been like this for like a day or so.
So it happened what? The other night?
I don't know.
You don't know what happened. Were there guns around?
This kid Eric did it. I don't know how he did it exactly. I might have been shot. I don't know.
While you waiting on this to do more reports?
I don't know.
It looks like it went right through, huh?
Yeah, it might have. I don't know.
They also informed his father that he'd developed an infection that may have been avoided if he'd gotten the necessary treatment in time instead of the interrogation. Ryan was hospitalized for 35 days and lost part of his brain and his left eye for good. Worst of all, he had frequent seizures from the day he left the hospital. For 10 years until 2016, he gave up and decided to end his life. Richie and Larry were both sentenced to life in jail with no chance of release ever. This terrible narrative serves as a reminder to law enforcement of the need for correct process and human sensitivity. They already had him in custody, so they could have given him medical attention when he continued to insist on it. Their failure to prioritize Ryan's health during that vital hour had disastrous effects that ultimately led him to taking his own life. To think that he survived one horrific thing to then die in these circumstances is upsetting. It emphasizes the need for reform in the way interrogations are handled, particularly when persons are in urgent need of medical assistance. Let us know your thoughts on this. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.